Hello everyone, this is Muhammad Wasim Khan, an instructor of your course Total Quality Management. Welcome to Learn with Wasim. In today's lecture, we will talk about one of the most important topics regarding the total quality management, and that is a Six Sigma. This lecture will have a number of parts, but in this first part of the lecture, we will introduce a Six Sigma and some of the methodologies. In this lecture, we will talk about Six Sigma, its use, and the key elements of quality. We will also discuss Six Sigma methodologies. So, what is Six Sigma? Six Sigma is a quality measure and improvement program which was developed by Motorola. It is used to reduce product defects, improve the quality, and increase the profitability. So Six Sigma is actually used in order to reduce the defects in the products that are produced in different organizations or companies. So the main objective is to reduce the defect and improve the quality and increase the profitability. So three things are very important. The first one is reducing defects, continuous improvement of quality, and increasing the profitability. What does sigma mean? Sigma is a Greek letter which is represented by this symbol and is used in statistics to denote variation or standard deviation. So sigma is actually represented by this Greek letter, and it actually shows the standard deviation or variation. To control a process to the point of Six Sigma means to control defects to 3.4 per million items. We will discuss it in the next slide. So you can see here we have different sigma level in the first column of the table. The second column of the table represent defects per million, and the third represent the accuracy or the yield. So the 1 sigma means 690,000 defects per million items. That means that in 1 million items, 690,000 defects are possible. So its yield would be 30.85%. A 2 sigma level means 308,000 defects per million. Okay, the 3 sigma means 66,800 defects per million, and that use 93.32% of 4 sigma level represent 6,210 defects per million items or parts. But if you look into the 6 sigma, so 6 sigma is the most accurate and the most preferable level of quality. Okay, so 6 sigma represent 3.4 defects per million, only 3.4 defects per million items. That means that it yields 99.99966%. So that's why 6 sigma is important. But in order to achieve 6 sigma, the different organizations have to go through different processes, and they have to improve the quality continuously. Okay, so attaining the 6 sigma level is not a very simple or easy process. The use of sigma. By identifying factors which are critical to quality, we can reduce the process variation. So using the 6 sigma, we can reduce the process variation we introduce the robustness to the products or the processes. If we through Six Sigma, we can improve the capabilities, and obviously if the process variation is reduced and the capabilities are improved, then the stability may also increase. And all of these three things are possible because of the zero defects. Okay, so the main objective using Six Sigma is to reduce the defects to zero, but I think that is not possible. That is just an ideal situation. Okay, so Six Sigma level means that 3.4 defects per million parts. What does zero defects mean? If we can measure how many defects we have in any given process, then we can systematically work towards eliminating them and get as close as possible to zero defects. But it may not, easy or possible. I won't say it is impossible, but it is very difficult to achieve a level of zero defects. But that's why Six Sigma only represent not the zero defects per million parts, but it represents 3.4 defects per million parts or items. So what we need to do is to improve our products, our processes, our products, and every thing that is related or linked to our products or services, or our outcomes or results. Okay, so what we need to do is to improve those processes, improve the quality systematically or gradually, and then we as a result of them we can reduce the defects to zero defects. So let's talk about the three key elements of quality. The first one is the customer. Yes, customer is obviously very important. The second one is the process, and the third one is the employee. So customer usually provide the organization what actually they need, what actually the customer needs, what are the requirements of the customer, and the organization actually go through a particular process to transfer the customer needs to a finished product or service. Okay, and all of these processes are usually performed by obviously machines, but the machines are may run by different organizations through different individuals, and we call those individuals the employee. So let's talk about the customer first. Uh, Customer actually defines the quality. The customer actually place an order, and that order may have some expectations, some needs, and some requirements, and the organization uh, defines a particular quality, okay, in order to fulfill those requirements and needs of the customers. Okay, the customer expects some performance, reliability, the competitive prices, on-time delivery, a nice service, correct transaction processes, etc. Okay, so that's what actually all the customer need. Being good is not enough. Customer need to be delighted, and if you want to please customer, you have to provide them a defect free, a reliable product or service with a with a nice price. Okay, and you have to provide them a good service and provide the product or a service um, within the deadline. Okay, those products and services must have the good quality as well. So these are some of the points you have to consider if you want to please or delight the customers. The process, there is a need for us to look at our business from the customer's perspective, and that is to look at our processes from the outside in. What actually usually do in an organization that the customers provide inputs to the organization in the form of needs, in the form of requirements and expectations, and some other inputs can also be used, and those organizations have to prepare a particular process in order to convert those inputs from the customers to the outputs. Okay, that's why the process is very important. The third one is the employee. Okay, without employee, you can't run a process. Okay, you can't run even an automated machine. So let's put it simply: people create results. Okay, people actually employee are the people or the individuals who are working in an organization, and they actually try to gather information regarding the customers requirements and needs, the market's requirements and needs, and they prepare a particular plan for those in order to fulfill those requirements and needs. Okay, and they prepare a particular process, and they perform those processes in order to create the products and services that fulfill the needs and requirements of the customers and market. So that's why an employee is very important. Now let's talk about the a very famous DMAIC model here. DMAIC, at the heart of Six Sigma, is a systematic method for analyzing and improving business process. We call it DMAIC. D mean define, M stand for measure, and A for analyze, I for improve, and C for control. So let's discuss different five phases of the DMAIC. So as I have mentioned in the previous slide, that DMAIC has five phases. The first one is define. Define means define opportunities. Okay, and then you will have to measure the performance. The third one is to analyze the opportunity and improve the performance. And the last one is to control the performance. So we are going to discuss each of these phases one by one. Let's talk about the define phase of DMAIC. So what we do in defining phase, we actually define opportunities. And this is the step we take to find exactly what the requirement, measure, or concern is. Without defining, we cannot performing other elements. So a definition is actually a very important aspect. If we want to do any project, or if we want to solve any problem, then we have to define those the objectives or those projects. We have to define those problems. Okay, and after that we can analyze, and we can control, and we can process or improve the performances. So define is very important. The second one is M. M stands for measure phase. So what we do in measuring is to measure performance. Various tools can be used once we have a measurement plan. So once we have a measurement plan, we can use a number of tools, like the benchmarking, like the statistical process control, like the calculation of process Six Sigma and RRR studies, etc. So we have these are some of the tools. We can use some other tools as well for measurement purposes. The next one is A. A phase means analyze phase. In analyzing phase, once we have measured data in the M phase, we can analyze it using a cause and effect analysis, financial assessment, value added analysis, and so on. So these were some of the analysis that we can use to analyze the data that have been measured in the previous step or in the previous phase. The next one is I. I stand for improve phase. What we need to improve is improve the performance. Having analyzed our data using different steps, we can take steps to improve a process using design of experiments, or DOE, the FMEA, failure mode and effect analysis, POCAYOC, etc. These were some of the techniques that we can use to analyze our data. So that actually depend on the nature of the data and our objective, that which tool we or technique we should use. And the last one is obviously C, and control. Control is one of the most important phases, not just in DMAIC, but in almost every technique, because control mean we have to monitor, we have to control the changes, the variation, we have to control the quality, by performing, or or by going through different steps and processes. So control is one of the most important part. If you want to control the quality, if you want to improve the quality, by the way, you have to control the quality, the control the defects number, you have to control the processes, you have to control the employee, your nature, etc. So as control here means that once we have made process improvements, we need to control the process using Kaizen, control charts, and 5C, etc. So these were some of the techniques of lean methodology, and you know that we have already discussed some lean methodologies like 5, S, etc. So you can use those methodology for controlling. Uh, Okay, let's discuss the DMAIC process with very simple examples. Okay, so let's look at an example. A company is having parts failing inspection after machining. Let's see how the DMAIC process could be used. So define. Inspection or rejecting a high number of parts after final machining. So that is actually a definition. And measure means yield obtained, the number of defects in total measured, so that a standard deviation can be defined, so that the signal value can be defined. Analyze. We have to analyze the operators, the material, identify variables that could impact the production, and different experiments conducted. We will also have to analyze the range of acceptable levels determined. Okay, so the next one is to improve. So improve means we have to improve the operating instructions. Okay, we will have to change the operating instructions, mean we have to update them. Production levels brought into line with capacity. Okay, so we can improve the capacity of the production line, or we can improve the processes of the on the production line. Final production yield increase. Yes, obviously, if we are improving and we are improving the plans and the instructions, operating instructions, and some other processes, then obviously that will lead to increasing in final production. And control. So control charts introduced for machine, and you know that what actually control charts mean. Control chart actually represent whether your processes or are within are stable or unstable, whether your processes are within the control limits or not. If some of the processes are out of the control limit, then that means that you have to take some actions. The corrective actions usually we take after, excuse me, when we draw the control chart. for different processes. So that control chart actually tells us that which process is within the control limit and which is out of the control limit. So those processes that are out of the control limit, we have to take corrective actions to, move them to the within the control limit. Okay, so that is very important. We want the normal processes, we want the ideal processes, and we can do that by using different tools like the control chart we have mentioned here, as you can see on the screen. So that was the end of the first part of the Six Sigma, and we will move toward the complexity in Six Sigma, and we will also talk about the different Six Sigma belts, that is black and green and yellow, etc. Belts in the next in the coming parts of the lecture. Um, so I will recommend you to please visit my YouTube channel and Facebook page, and you have to like and subscribe those channels and pages. The YouTube channel and the Facebook page has a title, Learn with Wasim. And but if you have any question regarding any of my lectures, you are free to contact me on my email address, which is learnwithwasim@gmail.com. Thank you. um, Allah Hafiz.